What's
Is it more than three?
um
Because
how
otherwise
many?
it'd just be me and you.
Yeah, I have like a fair. I have like I just got over 1,000 subs, but I'm telling you right now that the subs that I have,
Yeah.
it's a long story, but really most of my audience is really activist based,
Yeah.
and it's not just a regular audience, right? So
Oh, so they're
um,
advocates. They're advocates.
all my I don't know if you see my work, but it's very heavily based on activism and
Yeah.
actually
Yeah. Yeah.
learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, let's take a look at your some of your work right here because I'm learning about yourself. And the thing is that I'm I know that you recently did the protest of 32BJ, and
Right.
I saw that on the flyer it said DoorDash, Grubhub, these types of things.
Right.
And I think that you were also protesting 32BJ as a security guard. Am I correct?
Yes.
So what is 32BJ? What industries does that's a subsection of SEIU, a very popular union, a very well
Yes.
known union. What
Yeah.
is 32BJ covering?
So 32BJ has 175,000 members uh, throughout the United States.
Oh, we lost you a little bit with the audio. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you're moving between towers or something. Yeah, your signal's a little off.
Yeah, yeah, because there was phone calls coming in, so I was
Oh,
declining
I'm
the
sorry.
calls.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So 32BJ is it's a well-known union here in New York City. I believe the headquarters is right here in New York on 18th Street where we were striking at yesterday. Um, 32BJ has 175,000 members. They're in 12 different states, and they have several sectors. I know they have a security sector, a security guard sector. They have like porters and maids. They have several sectors. I don't know how many exactly, but they do have a lot. And
Okay.
they have a doorman sector, people who do doorman work.
Okay. So 32 BJ, the thing is that it seems to be a subdivision of SEIU. SIU do they also do they have is there a duplication of services to a certain extent between SCIU and 32BJ 32BJ, or are they
I think no. I
yeah.
think SEIU. I think that is them. That's them. That's just like an abbreviation. I'm not sure if that's a sub. If it's a sub of SEIU, is it? You think it's a sub?
I know SCIU does like nurses and stuff like that. That's usually when I see them around the healthcare workers.
Yeah,
Um
but you
yeah.
always see the round circle in purple with the white letters. It says 32BJ.
No, I haven't really, and you're kind of like that's what I'm learning new about it. I've seen SEIU. I really have not seen 32BJ. I'm really kind of like getting introduced on through yourself. I'm
Yeah,
quite interested.
so
Go ahead.
if you Google 32BJ, you're gonna see 32BJ SEIU. So that's like the abbreviation of their actual name. It's an
Oh,
international, yeah, it's an international something. I don't know what it's a very long name. That's why they use the abbreviation.
okay, good to know. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, I do see that. So all of SEIU is actually 32BJ. It's not
Right.
like a subset of 32BJ. It is actually SEIU. Okay,
Yes.
interesting. I'd never actually known that.
Yeah.
Um, interesting. Okay.
They show up a lot to a lot of the press conferences and rallies. You see the round circle that it's a round circle that they have. It says 32BJ SEIU. You see that a lot of politicians know who they
I'll,
are.
I'll tell you honestly. If you look at like AFL-CIO things like that,
Yeah.
I see IU more than AFL-CIO. I see them more than the Teamsters. I mean, I know the Teamsters are deep, no
Yeah.
diss to them, but SIU is very, very powerful. In Albany, whenever I go there, they're always mad deep. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're very powerful.
Yeah.
I won't even say possibly the most powerful political union, or like union.
Yeah.
Are they most powerful union in New York State? They
I
might
don't know.
be.
I
They're up
can't say,
there.
but I could. They're well known. Yeah.
They're
32
definitely up
BJ.
there.
Yeah. They're well known. It's 175,000 members, but I don't want to give them too much credit, man. You know who holds the power? I could tell you who holds the power, and it's a
Find out.
stronger. The people. The people hold the power. The people are stronger
Okay.
than the people are stronger than the union. And we did not to brag, we just I think because I'm trying to check it. If you could find out otherwise, let me know. We are the first people, the first group to strike in front of 32 BJ. So basically, we was doing the work that the union's supposed to do. That's what unions do, right? They strike, right? When
Correct.
when they have to strike, when they're seeking justice for the workers, right? They strike. But
Okay.
we did the strike. We had a strike against the union for not doing their job,
Now I
and
do see that.
they didn't like it.
One thing that I was very interested was that I saw that you were talking about Grubhub, DoorDash. Now I see on your title it says TLC Driver Advocate. I
Yes,
know that you also have a NYC Drivers United, right? You do a lot
yes,
of work against,
yes,
you do work for like taxi advocacy, right? The owners, they've
yes,
been under fire. You also do
yeah.
work on fighting congestion pricing, right?
Yes, yes, because
Now,
so
go ahead.
a lot of people get confused. It looks like I'm all over the place, but really, if you follow my thinking, I'm not all over the place. First of all, I'm a TLC driver advocate, so
Right,
you're always going to see TLC driver advocate Raul Rivera. I don't even put my name first. I put what I do first, because
right.
I think that's more important. Because it's not really about me. It's really about the advocacy that we're doing. I'm a licensed TLC driver. I got 23,000 trips with Uber and Lyft. I love driving around the city. I consider myself a TLC driver. Our license is the same. I could drive yellow. I could drive green. I could drive Uber. You know, the thing is, you see, my second group is called New York Officers Unite. My first group, my original group, is NYC Drivers Unite, which is
Okay.
that's my main group. The reason the second group came out of was security guards. Remember, security guards are employees, though. You
Yeah.
could do some private work if you get hired privately. You could do some private work on your own. But for the most part, if you're a security guard, you're working for a company. So I worked at FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology, on 27th Street. I was there for 6 months, and that's where that group was created last year. That group was created last year. NYC Drivers Unite was created in 2018.
I just
So we
I do want to ask you a quick question about that. I know like the gigging and all this other type of, with the driving, a lot of it becomes gigging. So when you're doing the DoorDash, not only are you driving people around, you're also delivering food and stuff like that.
yeah.
So the thing is that that right there is actually that gig type of work. You can work as many hours as you want. So maybe you decide to be a security guard on the side, but it seems like, why would you pick up a second job as a security guard when driving can really take all your time? You get what I'm saying?
What you trying to say? Driving is better than security?
No,
The
but
more,
it depends on the gig, right? But also sometimes like people will there's a lot of reasons why it could be, right? Sometimes people have the car on a 12-12 shift, right? Yeah, where they'll
right,
co-own the car with someone else, or they rent the car out to
right.
someone else. Maybe it's 8-8-8 shift. So
Yeah.
maybe you're like maybe that's the reason why you also want a security gig. Maybe not, right? Why are you actually picking up a second job as a security
Well,
officer when you're already doing
drive,
the taxi, right?
driving. I understand now what you're saying. The driving has gotten expensive, and renting a vehicle in the city, which is what I do. I rent the vehicle. It's very expensive. $400, $450 a week to rent the vehicle, and it's got very expensive with the gas. So I stopped driving for more than a year now, and I have a security guard license. So I got into security work until things get better, until maybe we could make a difference in the advocacy for TLC drivers. Even though I'm not driving, I still have a TLC license, and we're going to continue with the advocacy. We're focused on reforming the TLC. I'm talking to some lawyers about suing TLC. We're trying to draft a complaint, and that's where we at. Now, Officers Unite was born last year because I worked at FIT, and there was some issues that happened there personally to me. So because that happened to me, I'm sorry, there's an ambulance coming.
That's fine.
So
Okay.
there was something that happened to me at FIT, and it happened to other people there. It just so happened that I decided to advocate and speak up. But it's catching fire. It's catching fire, I gotta say.
Well, what did happen?
What happened was you have FIT, and then you have two public safety directors that run the safety department in the school.
Okay.
And they also have like 20 officers, mostly dispatchers, sergeants, and lieutenants that work for the school. So about 20 officers work for the school directly. Then they hire an outsourced company like an Arrow Security or Securitas or Allied. They hired them to work on site at FIT. But like in my case, when we was there, it was Arrow Security, and Arrow Security was paying us, right, because they were contracted to work on site with FIT. But the guys calling the shot were the two directors that worked for FIT.
Yep.
And they were very, very nasty. They were very rude. They treated the subcontractors, like myself and others, they treated us like crap, man. And during roll call in the morning, they would curse. They would curse at us. They were just nasty. They were just straight out nasty. And we was making $16.70, and I'm saying, wow, I can't believe we're being put through this. You know what I mean?
I do have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that I have actually dealt with different public safety, they call them usually on the campuses.
Yeah.
Now I don't know here in New York, but I know at a lot of colleges and a lot of universities they get to have police power over their students. They have their own internal police force that's outside the bounds of normal police for the city. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not this school not FIT.
Okay, yeah.
FIT is part
Okay.
of SUNY,
CUNY,
SUNY.
CUNY. Isn't it
No,
CUNY or is it SUNY? It's CUNY
SUNY.
school? SUNY?
No,
Oh,
it's
state school. Okay, it's state. Okay.
Yeah,
Not
SUNY.
city. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was there only for 6 months. Ironically, they can't fire me because I work for the security company that they contract.
Yeah.
But what they do is they pretend that they own us. They pretend that they could do whatever they want with us. So if the client, which is the school, and the one who's running, let's say, the show is the client and the two public safety directors that work for the school, if they don't like you for any little reason, they'll snap their fingers and you're gone, and they remove you, and then the company you work for will place you somewhere else at a different site in the city because they have different contracts throughout the city.
And I just wanted to let you know, Raul, right? I've been a security guard as well. And like I
Yeah.
said before, I do have some experience of working with the schools.
Yeah.
What you're describing right here is a very common setup by administrative right people to not only pay guards less, right? Yeah, because if they work for the school, it would be more difficult for them to justify, right, the minimum wage that they're basically paying you, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but also in order to control liability on their end, and also right, and the abusive way that they treat the workers, there's a very strong level of hierarchy, and also by being able to kick around these security guards like this,
Yes.
they can make problematic events go away. You know what I mean? So they're actually incentivized to be very controlling and very right, because then the security guard, right, they want to testify about something or there's a problem going on. They're going to actually they lean on security guards to treat cases like rape and things like that. They underreport rape, things like that, because the administration will lean on them. This is a very well-known fact. So enough about that. Go ahead, keep going on though. But what you're saying is absolutely common and very well known in the industry. Go ahead.
And they'll say that, oh, you don't work for us, you work for Arrow Security, and we just removing you from the site. That's all it is. You're not being fired.
Yeah, that's just to protect for their liability. That's bullshit. But yeah,
I'm sorry. That was another call. I had to hang up. If I get phone calls, I'll just hang them up.
No, you a hustler, man. I respect your work level, man. You put out a lot of work. You put in a lot of work, and I'm interested to find out more. I know we're not really doing the full interview today. I know you're kind of like on the streets and doing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But you're very interesting to me because of the amount of work, the quantity of work that you do.
Well, it seems like I'm doing it full time, but I'm not. It just all adds up. You know what I mean? You just do two or three actions a month, 3 or 4 actions a month, and it adds up. After a certain amount of months pass by, it adds up, and we've been advocating since 2016. And we've gotten some bills drafted for the drivers. We got a petition that was signed by Mayor Eric Adams and many council members. But the thing is, we're not gonna lick boots, so to say, to have our bills pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just getting a bill drafted is hard enough. When you get a council member to draft a bill for you, that's a big victory. Now, if the council members If the city council doesn't want to put it on the floor, put a vote on it, or give us a hearing, or pass it, that's on them. You know what I mean? Because we got to do our part. They have to do their part too. And if I lick boots, I probably could get those bills passed. But I'm not gonna compromise my, my pride, my dignity, just to pass some bills when they should recognize that those bills are good and they should just pass them themselves. You know what I mean?
Okay, so there's so much complexity to your work. Actually, I will be addressing some of those other things in a moment. But as in terms of this 32 BJ thing, as in terms of this union fight for DoorDash, for Grubhub, things like that, right? Or
Yeah.
fighting for the rights of them. I saw that was on the flyer. You were talking about the security. Where does the DoorDash and the Grubhub thing? Because when you sent me the flyer, right, that's actually on the thumbnail of this particular thing. It says DoorDash Grubhub. What is the relationship of that to this 32 BJ thing?
It's very, very simple. So like what the issues that we were having, at FIT, brought about that group, because it was happening to me personally, that I decided to do that second, I want to say, subgroup of New York Officers Unite, which I didn't really want to do because that's just added work. But since it happened to me personally, I make, you're gonna mess with me, I'm gonna advocate against you to defend my rights.
Hell
So that,
yeah. I love it, man.
So it was born. So New York Officers Unite was born, and we advocating. And man, officers are employees. Like I said, you may be able to do some side work as a private, private work, but that's how New York Officers Unite came out. And I don't say united, I say unite, because people need to know that we're not united and we need to unite.
I was a security guard before myself, and so was Christopher Leon Johnson. I think there's a lot of things we could work on, but I'm sorry, continue on, right? So the Officers Unite, how is the Grubhub coming in? How is it connected to this, to the FIT?
Okay, so 32 BJ was at FIT. I'm sorry, there's some noise here. 32 BJ was at FIT, and they wanted me to sign the card to be a member. And I didn't really want to pay union dues because we was getting paid crap anyway. Yeah. I don't feel like giving $60 to a union.
When you're getting paid like basically minimum. Yeah, that's what are you doing? Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I would say, my cell phone bill comes around, it's $100. Then the union dues come around, that's $160 a month right there, gone. You know what I mean? All right. And anyway, long story short, 32 BJ did what they did. They didn't. I spoke to Israel Melendez. He's the vice president to the security division. I said, in the very beginning when I first met him, I said, "Yo, we got to strike at this school. We got to do something." I said, "They disrespect people here left and right." And he tells me the best strike is no strike. I said, "Really?
Why is that?" Yeah, that's weird.
That's why, because he probably believes in negotiating and contracts and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I said,
what does he achieve? Like, if he's talking big, right? What has he done? Like,
if you hear him, he says, "Oh, we got benefits for the guards." It's a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to bust his union. I'm not trying to be a union buster. I just want to know.
That's okay.
Yeah, but he might think that. That's what he might think. But anyway, that's the issue that we have with 32 BJ. The disrespect, the fact that they didn't want to stand up for us. I said, if you're not going to stand up for us, then we'll do it on our own. We'll do it without you. Right? And
you're already an activist. You really, like, as the union, you could do your own negotiations.
Right. That's right. Fair. That's right. Who said we could strike? We don't need that permission to strike. I could strike whenever I want. I don't need nobody's permission. So what happened was they didn't want to defend us. They didn't want to do anything. And I'll have you know too that there was a suicide in that school. Somebody snuck into the building and went to the rooftop and jumped. That happened in March of last year. So it's just poor security, poor the respect for the officers is not there, the pay is not there. So it happened to me personally. So I took it on myself to fight for my rights, And we've been striking at FIT since last year, September of last year. We're on our fourth strike because we're asking that the two public safety directors be removed. Okay. And before we went and hit the streets, we sent emails, we sent letters, even hard copy letters to the president of the school, so she could sit down and talk to us like human beings. And we had an agenda sheet with points just to let them know what was going on and what the changes that needed to be done. They didn't respond to us. So because they didn't respond to us, we started going into the streets with cowbells, bullhorns, signs, and pictures. And you could see that. You could see that on the videos.
I did see that. I was
Yeah,
impressed by that. I wanted to know what was going on. So,
yeah.
um,
So
just so you know, one thing I want to just shout out there, right?
yeah,
Is remember before I said earlier about how schools, and you could look this up, right? How they try to like cover up rape cases because it's bad
yeah,
for the enrollment, it's bad for
yeah,
the press and things like that.
yeah.
So the thing is that not only are security guards victims, but also students are victims. You see what I mean? And you said like how
Yeah.
like it was unsafe. So the thing is that usually if the administration is used to a abusive way of acting, there will be other victims. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. That's
So
yeah. We only scratched the surface. We know there's more.
yeah.
We only
So
scratched the surface. But the
being the
suicide.
security guards on the front line, you may get to know the students, right? Yeah, I would
Yeah.
actually talk to them. They're the
Oh,
most
definitely.
populous group, right? There's four major groups at any university: the
Yeah.
administrators, the faculty, the
Yeah.
students, and the staff. And you would be
Yeah.
staff, right? They're probably the
Yeah.
most politically powerful, but just weak.
Oh,
Politically, I'm sorry to say, but also weak, right? But is the students because they're numbers and because they bring in the money. You see what I mean?
yeah.
So if
So
you
this
can,
is it.
yeah,
This is our angle. Our angle was because we don't want to be put off as or written off as some whack jobs. Some crazy guys making noise on the streets. So what we do is we try to do it the professional way. We had an agenda sheet. We asked for a meeting. They refused to meet with us. So the next step was to go to the streets.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
We also have audios, we have videos, we have inside emails that we're not supposed to have. We have inside emails. There's even an email where 32 BJ says they don't condone what we're doing, they don't support it. That email's even there. You know what I mean?
so what the thing is that right, it sounds like there's the issue that you're talking about is a common issue at universities, right? Yeah, and one that should be and needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
Now, you said that you're out there picketing yourself, and I've watched some of the footage, right? Now, you
yeah.
think that like maybe DSA or PSL or these other groups would help you. You'd think that maybe the Teamsters Union would come out in solidarity with you. I haven't seen that yet. Have
Yeah.
you tried contacting them? What's right?
No, we're not. We're not. Listen,
Okay, just
we
wondering.
have we have. No, I hear what you're saying. I'm not disregarding what you're saying. But
Okay,
and maybe we'll try it one day. But for now, we try to reach out to our union. Understand?
okay,
We try to talk to
yeah,
32 BJ. Those officers there. There's 150 officers there because there's 24-hour security.
right,
So the shifts are 3 shifts, and you got 150 officers. You got about 150, and so we tried to talk to our union, and the union rep didn't want to have it. They don't care about the officers. What they care is about collecting union dues. That's what they care about. He he heard the audios. We have audios of people cursing at us during roll call. We have audios of the public safety director from FIT being very nasty to me. And I'm gonna tell you why I was removed. And I'm gonna tie in Grubhub and all that stuff. So I was removed simply because on 9/11 of last year, talk about 9/11 2023. Everybody knows 9/11. It's a famous day. So we're officers, right? I'm standing at roll call on 9/11, and I said to myself, "Oh my God, it's 9/11." Nobody said anything like, "Let's have a moment of silence."
okay,
Nobody said that. So I said, wow, that's really messed up. I'm 54 years old, so I remember 9/11. I saw 9/11 with my own eyes when I was working at One Penn Plaza on the 48th floor. So I saw that. I worked at Penn Plaza for about 7 years, and I worked with lawyers. I did clerical work for lawyers. So what happened was, uh, they didn't do like the 60 seconds of silence. They didn't do anything. They didn't lower the flag at half staff at the school. Nothing. And I said, wow, that's really messed up. So I took it upon myself to use the radio. We have radios, right? I took the radio, I went to a secluded staircase, and I started to record myself. Somebody said, let me record this just in case, as like some kind of evidence.
right.
I never thought I was gonna release it because sometimes a lot of times we record stuff and then we just delete it. you know. But I said, let me record this because I was gonna do something a little bit that maybe they disapproved or whatever. But I was also bothered that they didn't call for 60 seconds of silence or anything. So I took the radio, and I said at this time, I first I took my phone and I put it on the ledge, and I recorded myself. And I said at this time we asked for 60 seconds of silence for the victims of 9/11. Nobody, dispatch. What's it called? Central. Central didn't say nothing like negative, stand down, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? They just let
Yeah.
they let the 60 seconds go by, and
Okay.
that was great. No problem.
Sure, okay.
All right. About 30 minutes later, I'm getting a phone call that the public safety director from FIT wants to talk to me. So I'm at a different campus. I'm sorry, there's an ambulance coming.
Okay.
Hold on, let it pass by. So I'm at a different campus, right? And I get a phone call that he wants to talk to me. I put out that call at 8:46 in the morning because that's when the first plane hit. And then let me go this way. And then I put out that call at 8:46 in the morning, like around 9:30. They want to see me at the office. So I go to the office. Right before I get to the office in the elevator, I hit my my Apple Watch and I start recording because I wanted to get what he was going to tell me. And we have that recording and I put it on YouTube. Very interesting recording. This guy's cursing at me, being nasty. He telling me he's a first responder. He goes, "How dare you do that?" I said, "Well, how dare you not do it?" I mean, this is 9/11. He calls
How
himself
dare
a first.
you have a moment of silence on that? That seems odd for him to say, but okay.
Well, the good thing is
He might have been just trying to exert his influence and bust your balls and exert dominance and have it. You know what I mean? You think that was that, or you think it was something else?
I know exactly what it was. It was the fact that he should have done that because he calls himself a first responder. He said he went to 9/11 ground zero 13 days in a row, and he has a certificate that he was showing off. He even talks about it. So if you're a first responder, then why would you not even call for a moment of silence? He tried to say that he doesn't do anything unless he gets permission from the school president and all that. And I said that's BS. You're the public safety director. You're the head guy when it comes to public safety, and you couldn't do that.
Wait. This was inside the office of the security office, or this is something like what? This? How did this affect the school, like at large?
This was it. And what do you mean?
Where did you have this moment of silence at the roll call when you guys were just reporting in for duty?
No, I did it over the radio, so all the officers heard it.
Oh, so what? That's
I did it over the radio.
Yeah. Okay.
I did it over the radio, and all the officers heard it, but he didn't like it because I did that. But he didn't like it not because I did that; it's because he should have done it. So he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed.
So after that, you were on his shit list.
Well, after that same day, I was removed from the site. But the thing is, I did the video. Yeah, I was removed.
Much? Holy shit! Okay.
Yeah. So I was there 6 months. That happened on 9/11, and on 9/11 I was removed. But the thing is that I had the video. So at 9:30 I was removed. At 11 o'clock I was in a McDonald's having something to eat. I dropped the video on TikTok at 11 in the morning. The next day it had 1 million views. 1 million views it had. I was fabulous. Yeah, I was getting phone calls from everybody, and they were like scared. They were scared because it got 1 million views, and you know how bad that's gonna look on them. You remove somebody from.
So you got your job back?
No, I did it. But they started to tell me, "Oh, you wasn't fired. You was removed." I said, "No, but that's not what the HR lady said. She said I was fired. She said I was fired because I called him a clown. Because I called the client a clown. So because of that, I was supposedly fired. But when they saw the video, I get a text message. Oh, you're not fired. You're just gonna be
So where's
placed somewhere else.
So they move you around different sites now because I saw you at some different sites.
Yeah, but I'm not with that company no more. I was actually fired. I got rehired with a different company.
You know, there's a lot of a lot of times people don't even get what they're paid. Like sometimes your employer gets like the same amount of money that you get for the gig. Like they'll take half the money,
Oh
straight
no,
up.
no. What happens is when they get a contract, so the security guards at FIT are probably getting, the school is probably getting banged over the head like $40, $50 an hour for
Yeah,
each hour worked and each security guard that's there. But from the $50, I might get 15 or 16. They'll keep the difference.
yeah.
There was
It's
a
really, yeah.
there was a government operations committee hearing with Councilmember Vicky Palladino was questioning DCAS, I believe it's called, about the migrant shelters where the security guards are making between $79 and $119 an hour, right?
I actually had a meeting with this for Night Show with a federal monitor, and
Yeah,
this has been documented. And
yeah,
I told her, right, I said, the fact that there's a lot of people getting these contracts who are working the contracts don't know how much they're getting paid. The end user doesn't know. And
yeah,
this thing should be made available to them because the thing is that the employers incentivized to do certain things, right? Yeah, like bully, right? Their workers so they don't ask for more money. So they
yeah.
stay under control. You do as you're told. You know what I mean? You don't F around. And there's a lot of artificiality to this, but by keeping you in your place, right? Yeah, they think they're being smart,
Yeah,
but they're really just being assholes,
yeah.
right?
And
And
and, and,
they,
and, and
yeah.
people are realizing the big contracts and the greed. How do you bill for 119? That's a mistake of the city allowing those kind of contracts because
And they
it's
allow, yeah. And what happens is that victims are created. What happens is that work isn't done properly, corners are cut, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
then people get hurt.
And you would think that if you got a great contract like that, and you're getting $119 an hour for each officer there, that you would treat them nicer. You would give them a little more, out of the 119, maybe you give them $30 and you keep the rest. But
Okay.
there's so much greed. They want to keep
So
almost everything.
So I'm very interested because the fact of the matter is that I have a lot of love for people that are out there doing that gig economy stuff, like running the taxis,
Yeah,
doing the DoorDash. So where does the right now in the labor part, right? Because I know we have a labor panel discussion coming up on May 1st. I think that's going to be pretty cool. I have a guy from the railroads coming in too. Should be
yeah,
if he can attend that one. But
yeah.
where does the
If
DoorDash
you're gonna
other
have something, yeah,
Grubhub?
I'll love to be part of that. If you're gonna
Yeah,
have, yeah, I'll be part of that for sure.
yeah.
Uh, um,
I'd
so
like to
so
also do some work on security guards. But yeah, how does this
so
DoorDash come in?
So
Yeah.
at heart, I'm a TLC driver. I'm always going to consider myself that, even though I did all kinds of work, I'm a TLC driver. I'm still licensed. I hope to get back on the road soon, maybe a year from now or 6 months from now. So TLC drivers are independent contractors. Grubhub and DoorDash and the delivery guys, they are also independent contractors. This is where Union 32BJ comes in. So there was a law passed recently where the companies have to pay the delivery guys a minimum. Did you hear about that? The minimum wage?
Yeah, that was actually there was some. I think Chris was also covering that as well. Chris was
Right.
hands on.
Okay, right.
What's your
So
position on that?
what was that?
What's your position on that?
Well, I'm gonna explain to you so
About to
people
find out. Cool looking.
I'm gonna explain to you so people understand my angle because I know what I'm doing. I know what my kind of advocacy that I'm doing, and it
Good.
looks like I'm all over the place, but I'm really not. My thing is transportation. So that's where congestion pricing come in. And my thing is TLC driver, that's where driving comes in. And that's where independent contractor comes in. Because I do the apps and I want to protect the status of independent contractor. Also, there's a group called Workers Justice Project who sold out many of the bikers. And they helped promote that bill that was passed where the delivery workers are making minimum wage now. And one of the big supporters was 32BJ. Even that guy that's the vice president to the security division, he was also pushing it. Him and Brad Lander, they were in front of the court promoting and pushing it because Grubhub and Uber Eats and Uber, they sued. They were trying to stop it, but they lost in court. There's video of that too. I can share the
So
video.
if you could help me understand, because the thing is that most people, I think this is why politically it happens, right? Yeah, why they get away with it
Yeah.
is that they say, "Oh, minimum wage for the drivers. That sounds like a good thing."
Yes.
Help me to
Yes.
explain, right? Yeah, what the most common misconception about this whole thing
Well,
is.
you listen. The key word is independent, right?
Okay.
And so that That's great. You want to be independent. So if you're a TLC driver, you're independent. You're a small business owner. That means you open up shop and you close shop when you want to. Nobody tells you. Understand? That's what's good about being independent, right? Now, 32BJ, you're no good to them. You're no good to them if you are a independent contractor. You're no good to them because independent contractors can't form a union and they can't be part of a union. So what do? You pass a law converting them into employees, and then you could create a division in your union and have them come over and invite them over. Be part of the union. We're gonna fight for you. And then we're gonna charge you $30, $40 a head. And that's what they're doing.
Wait a second. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's so many industries that you're talking about that this affects, right? Like truck drivers, things like that, right? So independent contractors, if they're not allowed to
Say that again.
unionize,
Say.
okay. There's other industries that are independent contractors, like truckers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And this is actually very interesting for many industries. So when you talk about, the independent contractors, what now? There's different rules, right? That define. I don't know if there's state versus federal like rules as to what defines an independent contractor, but
Yeah.
once again, like you point out some of the things, right? Like you control your own hours. You get to determine when you start, when you stop. What are some of the other defining characteristics of independent contractors?
Well, you can say small business owner. You could say independent you could say independent contractor. It's the same thing. The same thing. A TLC driver, it's a small business owner. So when the city is, bragging about having 500,000 small business owners, they never mention the taxi driver as a small business owner because he doesn't have a storefront, like a pizza shop, a bodega, a laundromat. But a TLC driver, a gig worker is a small business owner. Now the unions are coming and say, you guys don't have no rights. You guys are being abused. You guys are being robbed. You guys need to be employees and become unionized and come with us. They say that because they want those union fees. So when it comes to the delivery workers, there's like 65,000 of them here in the city. You don't need all of them. All you need is about 20,000 of them to join you guys. You charge them $50 a month or $30 a month, whatever it is. That's millions. They're talking about millions of dollars there. Understand?
Right.
So again, an independent contractor is no good to a union. You have to be converted into an employee. And that's what they do. And that's the angle. And then it looks real nice. Oh, we're trying to get a minimum wage. We're trying to really help these people who are struggling with a minimum wage. But now they're forcing, and they did this in 2019. It happened to me. What's happening now to the delivery guys, they did it to me and the drivers, where the city is forcing the app companies to keep the drivers busy. If they can't keep them busy, they're going to get fined. They're going to get penalized. So what the app companies do, they'll lock you out. You lost your independent. They lock. If you're in an area where it's not busy, they'll lock your application. They say demand is low, too many drivers. They'll lock your application, and then you have to wait for it to get busy, or they'll tell you to move to an area where it is busy, and then you can go back online. Or they'll tell you to go on a schedule, like a schedule planner. That's what they'll do, and that's what they're doing now with the food delivery workers, and they're upset. And a lot of them are getting locked out.
That's why, honestly, people need to listen to people that are working the system and the people that are affected by the system. But these people who have no idea, they just hear something and it makes sense to them, right? Yeah, they decide to affect our lives without talking to us. And it's disgusting and wrong. I'm sorry that a lot of I hope that, right, a lot of these people like DSA, PSL, things like that, right? A lot of bougie cats that are, I'm not saying they're all like this, right? But once again, I'm not saying that I got it all right, Raul got it. We don't, but we need to be included. And you need to stop excluding us. And we take a look at the poorest people, they do the gig work. The poorest people, they're out here doing what people that's really, taking that risk.
It's about being heard. It's about not being arrogant and condescending to think that you have all the answers.
Also, the employee thing you said is making it like the paperwork tougher and making harder for people that might have paperwork issues or things like that to actually work the system, right?
Right. I get that. There's a lot of illegals and they use hacked accounts. But I'm work with the guys I'm working with. They're willing to put in their tax ID so they can get their own legit app under their name with their tax ID and pay taxes. So they're down for
Yeah.
that. They're
Yeah.
down for that.
But it's just sad to see that this the community, right? The people, most people don't want to go out and deliver food. You know, what I mean, most people want to do. Not saying it's good or bad, but, you know what I mean. But most people, like, they have a regular 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
but
certain
these,
amount of risk involved. There's a certain amount of, you know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
danger,
it takes a
danger,
certain
danger.
energy too. You got to be like an entrepreneur, like you said, right? Yeah, and be
Yeah,
willing to throw yourself out there and test yourself and go and take on that system. But
yeah, yeah. And these are these
yeah,
are these are
sometimes
these
it's
are
raining,
certain.
things like that. Yeah,
There's a certain section of these people that are doing it. Young people. You don't got old people doing that. You know, these are young cats doing it for the most part. You know,
yeah,
but you know, they know that I'm not signed up as a nonprofit. They know that I'm not asking for no money. They know that I come with truth. You know what I mean? Uh,
okay.
a lot
So
of a lot of these unions want me to join them, and I refuse to join them. You know,
can you form like a trade association? Because like, if you're not employees, maybe like this, even though you're independent contractor, maybe the way you guys could work together somehow.
uh,
Maybe form a pack.
listen,
I don't know.
listen.
Yeah.
I've got the idea of a hybrid union, because if you're
Okay.
a hybrid union where you can still remain a 1099 and still be part of the union, you just give it the name of a union. You know, everybody's a 1099, and if you want to be part of it, you have to be a 1099.
But
You,
aren't those
you,
truckers part of the? Don't they have their own union, the truckers?
I don't know. I
But
don't
there,
know.
some of them are independent, some of them work for companies, right? So
Right.
that's
Yeah, yeah, but your license is what makes you independent. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
okay.
actually, that's not true. That's not true. You could work for a company, and you could get paid a W-2. You know, but all the truckers have a license, well, CDL license, you know, to drive those big rigs. Like TLC drivers, 95% of them are independent contractors, but there are a couple of places where you could work and you'll get a salary and you'll be considered W-2.
Yeah, what's going on? I think also the taxi drivers this summer had a thing where they were blocking the bridge and all this
Yeah.
other thing. They went on a hunger strike. What
Yeah, I
happened with
was, I was part of that. I was part of some of those caravans. But you know, when everybody says taxi, you think about the yellow taxi, right?
that? Okay.
But because they think about the yellow taxi and they think about the medallion. But really, I'm a taxi driver, and I remind drivers that we are TLC drivers, taxi limousine commission drivers. Our license is the same. I could drive yellow, I could drive black, Uber, Lyft, green car. So really, we are TLC drivers, taxi limousine commission drivers. There's nowhere in the license that says Uber or Lyft. Understand?
Right.
And everybody knows that the yellow is iconic, but we're
What do
all
you think
drivers.
is what do you think is going on with the industry? A lot of people say that Uber kind of took over or has like undue influence within the taxi community now. How do you feel about that?
Uh, they decimated the yellow. But there's a lot of things that I can say about the yellow. Listen, first of all, the yellow would discriminate on people of color. They would discriminate and not take you to the outer boroughs. They wouldn't take you. They would just want to operate from Manhattan to the airport and back to Manhattan and back to the airport. That's all they really cared for. A yellow taxi is supposed to pick up in all the boroughs, right? Hold on a minute. We got an ambulance here. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
understand that. Yeah,
So the
it's hard to
yellow,
stop
the
it
yellow.
though. It's
What was
hard to
that?
stop it from happening. It's hard to stop that from happening though. But I get what you're saying. Yeah,
So
it
the
does happen.
yellows, yeah,
Yeah.
it happens a lot, and they take advantage of the tourists. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot because, believe it or not, the yellow taxi would make $800 a day. They will make $800 a day, and if you're making $800 a day, you really don't care about gas, you don't care about maintenance, you don't care about expenses because you're still making $800 a day. Understand? That's why people were able to put their kids through school, maybe buy a small house. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But then when the apps came out, everybody has a smartphone, and it just took off. That's all. And now it's harder to discriminate because you order your ride and it comes right to where you at, and you get to go to where you need to go. You don't have to be waving down or hailing a cab because that's the only benefit that they have they're able to pick up in the streets. Nobody else can. Everything
Yeah,
else
they
has
did
to be.
take over the industry. Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah. So,
changed
but
everything. I was in the taxi industry around that time.
yeah, so if you're a yellow, you could pick up in the street. Nobody else can. You have to be dispatched. Even if you're using Uber or Lyft, they consider it like a dispatch ride. But the thing is that you know, that's that's what happened. That's why it took off. It just took off. It took
I
off because there's
understand.
a lot of discrimination. But I'll tell you, the Taxi Workers Alliance, they might not like this. They might not. They wanted me to be part of them, and I didn't want to be part of them. And I was real friendly with them in the very beginning. They were mad cool with me. And when they realized that I didn't want to join them, they started giving me the cold shoulder. But they're a nonprofit. They get like $1.5 million a year. They're nonprofits. You know what I mean? It's basically a business. You
You know,
know?
I'm going to shout out actually 12 Bales. I don't know if you know my friend 12 Bales. She's also an activist, and she says right now Uber has a contract with Accessoride, and Uber is really embedded in city contracts.
Yes, yes, and Lyft too. Lyft is trying to get those accessory rides. They're trying to do that because they need more trips. But
Yeah, a lot of not-for-profits use Uber all the time.
yeah, and the Taxi Workers Alliance, they complained a lot about Uber, right? They complain
Yeah,
about Uber taking taking rides away and taking business away from the yellow. But now they have an agreement where you can go on the Uber app and you can order a yellow through the Uber app. So
yeah,
it's really not about, it's really about money. It's not really about, you're
yeah.
taking our business away, you're hurting our business. It's
Now,
really about money.
one thing I want to say too, talking about money, just right quick. I don't want how going to bring this. It's been very informative, right? But the thing is that when we take a look at the university system, it's
Yeah,
very hard to fight them. They usually have people that are entrenched in the not-for-profits, entrenched in the
yeah,
political game, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So to go after a school, especially a SUNY school, is very
yeah,
difficult, right? The board of
yeah,
trustees is usually politically connected and all this other crap. That's
yeah,
why they
yeah,
do act the way they do. That's why they are so hierarchical. That's why they
yeah,
are so abusive. You know what I mean? Because they have
yeah,
the power and they're used to just throwing it around, and you can't really stop us because we could do whatever we want.
yeah. Well,
So yeah, go ahead. Like
well,
it's a tough fight fighting these people.
well,
Go ahead.
we don't care. We don't care about that. We don't care. We're just gonna troop on. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna
Well, it's nice
just
to attack 32 BJ. I think is the easier target than actually not the easiest target, but they're the easier target than the school than
no,
FIU.
we're gonna get anybody that gets in our way. We can't do it all,
Yeah,
but if you get in our way, if you're in our radar, we're gonna go after you.
but
That's how.
FIU is using Arrow as their buffer, right? Or whatever company they hired, right? They're
Well,
using the security.
I
That's
can
why
tell
they
you,
hired.
I
Yeah.
can tell you, I can tell you this. We have some success already because Arrow Security left. They terminated their contract and they left, and
So the
that was
school should
because.
hire their own security guards. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and pay
They
them
should do.
right.
They should put them in house. They should get paid. They'll get paid better. Everybody will get to know who they are. You know what I mean? Instead of having a revolving door of people that you don't know every 6 months. If we go there now, there's only like 2 or 3 that we do know and they know us. But everybody else is new. They got a revolving door there. So if they did go in house, that would be better. You know what I mean? And that's what they should do. And there was a guy there that was trying that, and he got the dispatchers, he's got the sergeants and the lieutenants. He made them all in house, but there was something that happened that he just left because they will stop. The next ones in line were the officers, but it never happened.
You know, one thing I'm going to say real quick is we have a criminal justice reform project that we're working on that has the approval of Serpico, right? Yeah,
Right.
where actually you want to have outside, review
Yeah.
of like a system, and when the school is actually right hiring people and reviewing their own internal systems,
Yeah.
you see there's a strong power differential where they treat the contracted employees right a certain way because that contract is dependent on their approval. So they
Right.
start to become very abusive, and we need to have outside review of this type of thing going on. Maybe like, someone visiting the security agency, working there for a week or whatever, right? Yeah.
Well,
And
that's why
you
we have
here
that's why we
to
have 30.
investigate.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why we have 32 BJ, but 32 BJ is nothing but a bootlicker to these
Yeah.
to these
And you
to
even
these
have recorded evidence.
yeah. I mean,
So
and that sounds good, but that if the union's not gonna do their job, they're gonna be bootlickers. Then what are you gonna get? You know what I mean? That's what you get. Does it make
Yeah.
sense now? But the independent contractor, DoorDash, TLC driver, Uber, does it make
Yeah,
sense what I'm trying to do?
yeah, I'm really interested in learning more about, like, how you started in all this thing. But we will have the online access interview one of these days. But today I just wanted to find out more about that protest.
Yeah.
Also, I know that also Mark Staffman got one speak there. He's been helping. I know he worked on
Yeah.
your issue. He worked on. There's another lady named Kay Marie Presley. There was a blind man in her building, and
Yeah.
Mark went to help them as well. He's a
Yeah.
beast of an activist. I'm so
Yeah.
impressed. But what is the Sorry,
He
I'm sorry I missed him. Yeah, but what did he have to say at the event? Because I know he
well
talked about that as well.
he reached. There's a video that we put out. We did a small interview and we put that out. I'll send it to you. He's looking for more funding because there's a lot of disabled that want to work, and he's trying to reach out to the governor to get more funding in the state budget. They're asking for $1 million. I think there's a device called Code Navigator that helps.
Yeah,
It makes things better for the people who are blind and handicapped. But they still want to work. And some of these guys are like technicians and IT people. These guys are smart people, but they don't get recognized because maybe one's a little bit blind or one can't hear. So he reached out to me. He's seen me do some advocacy work. He got a contact. I had spoken to him a long time ago at a rally, but
I
I
know,
didn't.
but it's
I,
kind of look, I got mad love from my man Mark, and he actually does he does like money laundering inspections and like that. So maybe he could.
yeah,
At first, it was hard for me to see like where it works for security because he specifically works with the deaf blind, and you
yeah,
would say deaf and blind people. It's hard to find them a job in security, right? But maybe
yeah.
like
Well,
IT or something,
no,
right?
it's not.
Something else.
It's not security. He was talking about being. It's not talking about
It's
being a
hard for them to
security.
drive too. They can't really become
Yeah, right.
drivers.
Yeah,
Like I can't see that happening. So
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
AI or something. Yeah,
yeah. No,
there's
no.
just a
But
little bit of strange crossover, but okay. Yeah, go ahead.
he wasn't there because he was fighting to be security guards or doing. He wasn't there because of that or driver. He was
Oh,
there
yeah.
because a lot of the blind can do independent work. A
Yeah.
lot of the
You know,
blind.
I
So,
bet you what he would love though. I think that the taxi drivers, I bet you he wants them to have devices so they can speak with deafblind people and they can
yeah,
service them. Because if a
sure.
deafblind person goes up to a cab and says,
Yeah,
I need you to help me get into this cab, I need you to help me communicate, and those devices are not in those cabs, then
yeah. But
yeah,
he reached out to me, and my mother being handicapped, it's a no-brainer for him to join us. You know what I mean? I just didn't have time for him to come in and speak. But we did do a nice video, almost 5 minutes long, and I already set it up and I sent it to him, and he spoke a lot, and he had his pictures and he had the banners, and people know what he wants. People know what he wants.
yeah. If you actually, he just had like a disability panel with actually the former FEMA director,
Yeah,
there are some good connections there, and I'll try to put you in touch with that. He has some. He is a hard worker, so he'll find
yeah,
all the connections. He's
yeah.
very good with that. So,
Yeah. He's welcome. He's
excited. Yeah.
welcome. He's welcome to join us at the City Hall when we come out at City Hall on March 20th.
Okay.
We
Send me
got
some updates on that. I'll put that on my newsletter. And I'm gonna actually go to this meeting with the Greens that are, if they let me in, we're gonna see what happens. It might be exciting. There's a lot of stuff going on that world, but hey, it was great to talk with you. I want to find out more about this 32BJ thing. But I'd like to actually do a more in depth to like learn about you and your activism, just like at a deeper level. Yeah.
sure.
So hopefully soon. All right. Hey, thanks again for stopping by.
Thank you for the
God
time.
bless you, brother. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay, I just hit end stream. I'm gonna end the call.